Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, they are back, ladies and gentlemen. But back is a relative term, because what I was expecting to be Season 4, Episode 1 is apparently Season 3, Episode 26. Something is afoot. Find out what's going on with this episode by either listening or watching, or use some sort of extrasensory perception. I don't know. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Share the podcast around, people. The Formula 1 season's back. The Formula 1 boys are back. Show your love by sharing their podcast around. Right, here we go. This is CookieCast, straight to the apex.
Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome back to the final episode of Straight to the Apex Season 3. I don't know what episode this is, but it is the last episode. And you're joined obviously by myself, T-Dog, Mark, and James. It's been a while, guys. How are we?
Good.
Fantastic.
Good. Lots happened. A lot has happened. Christmas has happened. New Year's happened. The season's finished. The dust has settled. How are we doing? Have we done anything? Have we achieved anything?
I've just been sat in since the last podcast and not left the house waiting for this one.
I've gone round the sun once. Thanks, guys. Oh, yeah, I had thanks, wankers.
You've been keeping your eye in with podcasts, Tony?
I have. As always, we're always in association with CookieCast, who is our main editor, chief, you name it. And we are not the only podcast out there. There is an NFL podcast which is coming actually to fruition and the end, really. Is it next week, potentially? Because Super Bowl is this weekend.
Yep. Being a massive NFL fan that you are, you'll have known that Super Bowl this weekend, obviously.
Oh, obviously. I mean, I was on the podcast last week. I made my predictions for the NFL with Andy, football. Slag.
Allison, don't you worry.
Allison. A little bit. I think
he mentioned James again.
He got a mention.
Did he? He didn't. He didn't get mentioned.
Just a mention. Nothing else. But you can listen to that podcast and the rest of them all over the place. SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, as well as the wrestling podcast, which has kicked off, and Netflix has took it by storm. We have Logan Paul on there, I Should Speak, all over the as well as Triple H, as well as all the fucking John Cena, if you can see him. They'll be talking about everything about wrestling. The football is still going, or soccer, wherever you're from. That still marches on. Again, they do a podcast of that, so if you're interested, listen to that as well. But right here, right now, this is the best podcast. I'll say it with my chest. Because this is all about motorsport, Formula 1 mainly, with a little bit of sprinkle of everything else. So it's the end of the season. What are your thoughts on this season that has passed, 2024? What are your thoughts? What's the thing that you'll remember the most? While you're thinking about it, I'll start off, I think it annoys me that Max was so dominant at the start, and then it annoys me that McLaren were just really just messing about and confused and making mistakes and winning, but they could have done better nearly every time. It annoys me that Mercedes are still not there, but they keep winning here and there just to keep you on the end of the hook. Aston Martin was nowhere near it this season, which was like my third and fourth team, really. But yeah, I think the highlight for me was Lewis Silverstone. That was something that was just almost a dream, I think. An absolute dream. And it was almost like the stars aligned, really, with it being his last season. Anything that I can think of, Stroll being Stroll, Haas were up there, Alpine had an insane race one weekend, which they always seem to do every other season. Yeah, Perez just being shit the whole season and just questioning whether he'll be there every week. But yeah, what do you guys think?
It was good. It was interesting. There was drama. There was controversy. There was fingering of female colleagues.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly.
It was allegedly. I think actually that was not true.
Jerry,
I don't think that was true at all, to be honest, James. I mean,
Jerry, it's not allegedly.
It did start off the season. Did start off with a lot of allegations made against.
There was WhatsApp
our
leaks,
friend,
there
the
were
arch enemy of the podcast.
Sexual harassment, I nearly said assault.
Lots of messages. Some people got suspended. Words were said. It was like the drama at the start.
You're taking all my talking points from my team that you've given me. How dare you? Talk about your own teams.
I bet you've got in your notes.
This is James's highlight, so it must have been a really good season.
Yeah, obviously the McLaren aspect of it, just a couple of silly mistakes being made decision-wise, like let's swap them over, let's do this. Yeah, Perez, every week we're questioning how the fuck is he still there, and Ricardo was kicked off for less, and yeah, it was probably one of the seasons where Max has won it, and I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Yeah, you've earned that, and you've really shown what your pedigree is there.
I think, like you say, the good thing was Red Bull haven't won the constructors. Spoiler alert. Like there was quite a few. Hamilton winning the British Grand Prix from nowhere, 100% highlight. Not a fan really, but Leclerc winning Monaco for the first time this year, that was obviously a big highlight. There was the Vegas race was a bit better this year. We didn't have the drain covers coming up, exploding cars. Like you both alluded to, we've had a lot of off-track controversy with certain people, teams. You forget that Lewis Hamilton was actually announced as a Ferrari driver in February the 1st, 2023, at 4.
Yeah.
So a year ago, pretty much, he was the bombshell drop that he would be signing for Ferrari at the end of the year. It was... So we had that kind of lingering over us, didn't we, before even the races had kicked off. So, yeah, I mean, there was a mixture. I think the whole Ricardo gate all year. Tony wanted him out. He got his wish. Perez, every week. How is that kid still driving? He's now gone. Yeah, I thought it was a decent season. It's kind of hard to remember it all, but it's a decent season.
Yeah, I agree. So just to literally recap from the drivers' standings, we had Max Verstappen winning, Lando second, Leclerc third, Piastri fourth, Sainz fifth, Russell sixth, Hamilton seventh, Perez eighth, Alonso ninth, Gasly 10th, Hulkenberg 11th, Tsunoda 12th, Stroll 13th, Ocon 14th, Magnussen 15th, Albon 16th, Ricciardo 17th, Behrman 18th, Colapinto 19th, Joe 20th, Lawson 21st, Bottas 22nd, Sargent 23, and Doohan 24. The team-wise, again, from top to bottom, McLaren, Mercedes, followed by Ferrari, followed by Red Bull Racing, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Amoco, Mercedes, Alpine, Renault, Haas, Ferrari, RB, Honda, RB, bullshit, whatever, Williams, Mercedes, Kick, Sauber, Ferrari. So that was the top and bottom of it all, if you could understand any of that. I mean, if you're new to F1, we are next week, season 4 will kick off. So get involved with that one. Comment down below what you want to hear. Comment any questions, because it's all going to kick off again next week. But yeah, that was it. Drivers and teams. And we've all done a rundown. We've all had teams to pick, and we've kind of going to summarize each team. How should we do this, guys? What do you think? Do you think we should start from the top to the bottom? Should we go top, bottom, top, bottom? What do you reckon? Should we just go from top to bottom?
You're the host. You decide. You're in charge. You do what you want to do.
You do you.
Yeah. You please you.
Just not on screen.
Let's start from the top. That seems the most logical place. McLaren. And I think that was James.
That was me.
He's wearing orange, look. He's themed. He knows.
Is that your colours for the new season, James?
No, I just got back from my usual Wednesday stretch class. This is my new gym gear that I got for my birthday, which you two still haven't fucking mentioned, you wankers.
We did mention it at the start.
I guarantee Andy's going
to 21-year-olds do stretch classes, guys. Remember that.
Happy 50th.
God.
Wanker. Remember, you're not far behind me, mate.
I ain't far at all.
So, I've got my notes on my phone.
Wow.
Notes. I mean, Gemini's notes.
Are you gonna
out there? But Android is better.
Oh, wow.
So, McLaren, absolutely phenomenal 2024 Formula One season. They exceeded all expectations, marked true resurgence for the team. Won the championship. They secured the first Constructors' Championship since 1998, a testament to their hard work and significant improvements made to the MCL 38 car. They achieved this feat with consistent performance throughout the season, racking up wins, podiums, valuable points. Norris had his breakthrough year. He got his first. We spent most of this season, the first few races of the season, with all the memes of like pictures of Lando Norris at 70 saying, "Oh, still waiting for his first championship win." But yeah, fucker got it.
He did.
Runner up. Yeah, got a few in the end because he got that one. Was like, is that going to be it? And then he's like, no, hold my beer. I've got more in me.
Yeah.
Came up as a runner-up in the Drivers' Championship. He got his maiden F1 victory, breaking his streak of podium finishes without a win, going on to win several more. His speed, consistency, and racecraft were instrumental in McLaren's success. You can't argue with that at all. Piastri, I mean, that guy as well. Considering it's his second season?
Yeah.
He's already showing it as well, and he puts some of the other drivers he puts a fight up. Even in I think it was the last race when him and Max had their little bit of a argy-bargy for a little bit. He made his comment of, "Wow, world champion driving that." Yeah, he got his first win. Contribute now. Granted, wasn't happy with his first win. I don't think any of us really was, because it was given to him. I always said they shouldn't have done it like that, because he's always going to think his first win wasn't his win. Luckily, he got another one, and yeah, he did earn that one, so very nice. Massively improved car, so much more teamwork. It goes on about strategic excellence, but I don't know. Sometimes the strategies was right. For the constructors, it was absolutely right. But there's still that little bit where you've got to think, if they hadn't have pulled that little stunt where Piastri got his first win, would the end result of the season been different when it came to the actual champions?
Yeah.
I mean, We don't know. Probably not, because obviously Max pulled off some stonk. I'm not going to go into that too much because I imagine you've got quite a lot about his wet race.
Not really. You can carry on.
But yeah, Max showed it in the end, obviously. But yeah, we're not going to go into that. But yeah, amazing season for McLaren. Really got to give it to Brown. You know, some kid who went onto Wheel of Fortune, won a couple of grand and bought a go-kart, and then went on to take over one of the most prestigious teams in F1 history and bring them back to where they are now. Very happy.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to give it to Zach Brown. I think he proved himself this year. I think if there was one, I think they've achieved the goal this year. I think they achieved the goal that they were set out to do. It just got, as you alluded to, and as you said, it just got a little bit messy. But to be honest, Andrea Stella really did hold the ship together, and he came out with some very good comments, I thought, and backed up what had happened on the track, and called out some bullshit along the way. So I mean, I applaud him. I think a lot of him.
I quite a lot of the things he'd say after the races, stuff like that.
I agreed with it a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody did, and I think that's why people kind of were warm to him a little bit more and thought a lot more of him actually. So yeah, McLaren. Props to you, McLaren. Props to you, McLaren. Anything else on McLaren, Mark?
No. I think James covered it all. Like you say, I think they set out to win a championship. They got the constructors. After the start that Red Bull had, didn't think either were possible, but they slowly chipped away at that car last year, and I think this year they had a more solid base to build on. And in some races, that McLaren looked absolutely unstoppable. Whereas last year, we were laughing at it and calling it atrocious. So to develop like they have, I think Zach Brown, I think Andrea Stella, I think two guys that are going to hopefully keep McLaren going up that upward curve and maybe get a driver's championship. Because, I mean, Norris isn't our favourite driver. However, him or Piastri were world champions. Great, we've got another world champion. So
I think there's a world champion in that team.
Definitely.
And let's not forget, at one point, I think it was the third race in, Max won a race with a 21-second gap between first and second.
Yep.
Not long after, once McLaren really got the dominance in there, Norris went on to win a race.
Win aways.
That's right. Pick on my speech impediment. That's well done.
You're old now. You're forgetting words. Bless you.
Norris went on to win a race with a 23-second lead.
Yeah. Will he win next year? You'll have to tune in next episode to find out. Will he win next year? No, I'm not going to go there. They overcame many controversies, mini DRS and whatnot as well, front wing, all that jargon, and the FIA had to tweak a few things there. So yeah, props to McLaren. Interested to see what they do next season. Ferrari. Mark, was this you, Ferrari?
Hello, that's me. So, being a founding member of the Tifosi, obviously I've always supported Ferrari, always loved Ferrari, tutti la fruit, all that. So Ferrari, what a season they had. As I alluded to earlier, announced Lewis Hamilton as a driver for 2025 on the 1st of Feb last year. They scored the most victories in a season since 2018. So, obviously, last year we absolutely ridiculed them for the strategies, pit stops, messing about. To be fair, their team principal has absolutely smashed it this year. Fred Vasseur, he's been getting stuff right off the track. He's getting it right on the track now. So, yeah, they got the most victories this season. Melbourne, Monaco, Monza, Austin, Mexico City. Sainz won Australia and Mexico. Leclerc won Monaco, Monza and Austin. They finished second in the constructors with 652 points. They had a few issues mid-season where they brought an upgrade to the car and it just didn't work. So I think they rolled it back. They had quite a spell where they looked garbage again. Ollie Behrman, the youngster, raced for them in Saudi because Sainz had his appendicitis. Obviously, Ollie Behrman also raced for Haas for one race. But yeah, a more solid season from Ferrari. They've just announced today that Zhou Guanyu is the reserve driver behind Lewis and Leclerc. Obviously, Lewis has been testing for Ferrari the last couple of weeks. He had a minor crash, which people seem to be making a big deal of. But it was a bump on a track that everyone knows is a bump. And that's what testing is for. So I think he was doing a tyre test today with Leclerc. But yeah, Ferrari kind of, like I said, if you listen to our podcast in the 2023 season, we absolutely ridiculed them. They changed team manager that year. Like I say, Fred Vasseur has had a full season with them now. It's 2 seasons. Massive improvement for them last year. Massive improvement. Like second in the championship. So to pit Red Bull again, down to third after they dominated, can't really complain because that's one of the best seasons Ferrari's ever had for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Come a long way. They were a laughingstock before this season, and we did get on the bandwagon by saying Sainz was just Bants, but he ended up actually doing all right, and they both did actually. And Leclerc proved himself, I think, in that Monaco win, got rid of that demon. And I think over time he is being taken more seriously, slowly, but he's still. We've always said it. We've said it all the way back in season 1. He's got a crash in him. It'll be interesting to see how he does this season with Lewis Hamilton. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that next time. But they've had a good season. They did blow hot and cold, but they've had some good moments this season. And to finish second over Red Bull behind McLaren, only just because it was the last race of the season.
Yeah.
They just had a little bit too much to do. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting this next season. They're probably the team to watch, I would say, in my opinion, with the big Lewis move and the dynamic and the finish second. Yeah, I think they're the ones. I'm not going to say they're going to do well, and they're the ones that's going to have the spotlight. But we'll pass comment on them next time and the next episode. Anything else to add, James?
Not really. I mean, most of the stuff I really want to mention about Ferrari we'll discuss next week, really, because it's going to be more leading to the next season. So, haven't got rid of the wrong driver.
We'll discuss that next week. Jesus Christ. Red Bull Racing, Honda, RB, PT, XYZ. Yeah. Not big fans of them on this podcast, but we give them the dues, and I think Max Verstappen deserved his dues. Who's taking this? Is it Mark?
Me again. I've got Ferrari and Red Bull in the draft. I've done well here.
The draft.
The draft. I've got the draft. Oh, sorry, I'm talking.
It was randomly allocated so that we all did a fair bit of work. There was no competitiveness, and there was no anything to do with it.
Tony handpicked what me and James had. We had no say in it. Tony just went, "You're doing that, and that. You're doing that, and that." I feel like I've won in the draft. I've got 2 big teams. I'll take that. In NFL week, I'll take that. Red Bull, Max Verstappen, world champion, tick. Constructors champions, no, you fucked it. Yeah, so they finished the season with 589 points, finishing third. Obviously, looking at that, Ferrari 652, Red Bull 589, massive gap. And the way they started the season, we all thought it was a walkover again. But something happened with that car. We debated it all season. What happened?
We're not going to say it.
Checo Perez had a different car. It was a debate season long. If you are listening to this podcast, you will know we debated Red Bull a lot. Max,
Owned a lot.
yes. Max Verstappen had 9 victories all season. So Bahrain, Saudi, Japan, China, the Emilia Romagna GP, the other one in Italy, Canada, Spain, Brazil, Qatar. Sergio Perez, 0 victories. So it was the strong start to the season that won Max the championship because, like I say, everyone kind of caught up, and then Max did. I mean, Brazil, like James said, absolute highlight win. To win at Brazil, that was just, he had no right to win that. But like, I can't remember which race it was where he was 22 seconds ahead, but like I say, when you look at his 9 victories, there's some big tracks on there that he's won. Canada, Red Bull never do well at Canada, ever. Spain, they're always okay at. China, they're never really good at. Japan, they're always good at. Not their home Grand Prix this year, though. They didn't win Austria.
I enjoyed that one.
That was nice.
Come on,
Sergio
Simon.
Sergio Perez finished a whopping 285 points behind Max. Now, we debated it all year. It's now been confirmed. Shock horror. He's no longer a driver next year, even though he kept saying, I will be. We all knew it. They've replaced him with Liam Lawson. Now, Liam Lawson did okay for RB. Didn't set the world alight. Really. But he's now stepping up to that team. So watch this space. Probably one for next podcast, like you say. The big talking point from Red Bull this year was off-field track issues with Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, Max's dad Josh, Max. Obviously, Max got told off for swearing in press conferences. He did his community service.
He boycotted.
He boycotted it, yeah, exactly. There was quite a lot of off-track issues. Fingers pointing again at the Red Bull cheating, shall I say? Bending the rules, allegedly.
They never cheated. They didn't cheat, but yeah. Nobody cheats if you don't get caught, right? Anyway.
So yeah, that's all I had on Red Bull. You guys got anything to add?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think as much as the brilliance of Red Bull and Max Verstappen, there was as much as hearsay off the course, drama off the course.
You can't keep bit.
The big thing you didn't mention was that a kind of big game engineer, designer left.
Well, yes, that was big news. But then it wasn't big news because when you delve into how many people have actually left Red Bull Racing this year, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
But the guy
at the top of the pyramid.
I was going to say the guy that everybody actually wanted to leave didn't leave until the very, very, very end.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, top three stories of the whole top 3. I don't know, things to talk about over the whole season was when will Sergio Perez be sacked, basically, and I think everything happened barring that until the very end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, Max showed how good he is, and Brazil was the cherry on the top. There's no doubt about that. But for as good as driver he comes out with some ridiculously arrogant comments, which we've discussed on the podcast. Interesting to see how he'll do next year. You could say after the summer break, they shelved the whole fucking team and just thought, no, let's get Max a win and start again next year because they knew they was on the back foot. Anyway, I think they did all right. From where this started and the amount of drama and shit that was thrown at them, I think they did all right.
I don't think they have. I think this season's a failure, massively.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is. I think Red Bull, the car that they dominated with last year, absolutely trounced the field. Don't get me wrong, other teams are always going to catch up because the rules haven't really changed, but they had such an advantage. We were saying they were driving around in second gear last year, and they started the season with that advantage. But again, like I said, they flirt with the rules. There was little murmurings, weren't they, that they were pushing this and pushing that. And then all of a sudden, after 6 races, that car that was dominant and carried on from last year wasn't dominant. What had been caught up. And then we saw flashes of dominance this year, like Brazil, like Japan. So again, don't trust Christian Horner. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
But
we'll end Red Bull there. I think
exactly.
Let's end on him. Then tune in for the next chapter of Christian Horner next week when we start season 4 of Straight to the Apex. It's Mercedes next, which I think that's me.
Have you finally got one? And you've got 6 minutes to get through it. Is it going to be 2.5 Mercedes?
You can do it in 6.
You have heard Tony talk, yeah? You normally take the piss out of him.
I can't. I'm very bad when it comes to speaking, especially public speaking. Anyway, let's go for it. You ready?
Go.
So, the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team experienced a season of mixed fortunes in 2024, marked by both significant achievements and notable challenges. Early struggles. As the season started, Mercedes were grappling with performance issues, positioning them as the 4th fastest team behind Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari. Technical director James Allison described it as a rollercoaster of an extreme disappointment at the start of the year. And yes, it did. Mid-season resurgence saw a bit of a turnaround. They clinched 3 victories in 4 races. Leading to the summer break, George Russell secured wins in Austria and Las Vegas, while Lewis Hamilton delivered an emotional triumph in the British GP, marking his first victory in 945 days. Post-summer challenges. Following the summer hiatus, the team's performance became inconsistent, and despite a return to the winning ways in Las Vegas, where Russell led a 1-2 finish ahead of Hamilton, the car's unpredictability in varying conditions hindered sustained success. George Russell demonstrated a strong qualifying prowess, securing 4 pole positions, outperforming Hamilton in qualifying sessions 18 times out of 24. And he concluded the season in 6th and the Drivers' Championship with 245 points, achieving 2 race victories. Lewis Hamilton, in his final season with Mercedes before moving to Ferrari, secured 2 race wins, including the memorable victory in Silverstone. He finished 7th with 223 points, and his departure marks the end of a 12-year partnership with the team. Mercedes finished 4th with 468 points, the lowest finish since 2012. And James Allison remarked, the overall sense in the team is one of lost opportunity. Looking ahead, it's George Russell alongside rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli. It'll be interesting to see how they do. And that is Mercedes in a nutshell. They had Austria, was the best, most points they achieved, which was sweet. Russell first, Lewis 4th, and then I think it was Russell 4th, Hamilton 6th in the sprint. May have got that the other way, wrong way around, but who cares? Yeah, just a roller coaster of a season for a Mercedes fan. We got some wins in there. George Russell up to his old tricks, just acting like a lanky Woody. Anything to add, guys? Anything to add to Mercedes?
I think again it's the off-track stuff.
Mm.
You know what was going on with Lewis in the background. George towards the end of the season between him and Max.
Yeah.
It was always debatable.
Go there. It's
throughout the whole season of the treatment, or was the treatment? How was Lewis Hamilton being treated behind the scenes We know Lewis is a gentleman, and he wouldn't tell, he wouldn't moan much about it. Yeah, we all caught the feelings. I think the whole F1 world caught the feelings that George was definitely number one, and Lewis was slowly being pushed to the side.
That car was being developed for George, which, like we said, you would do because Lewis is leaving. You don't tailor something to someone that's leaving. I think, however, George's style was so different to Lewis's. That car got harder and harder and harder for Lewis to drive, and like you say, he's not really ever been in that position, and he was alienated. And I think a lot of people probably weren't happy with him at Mercedes. But what I think it was you, Tony, that said like he wanted that legacy, that that position when he retired, and Mercedes just said no. That ambassador role, he's been with Mercedes all his career, and they said no. And when a Ferrari, opportunity comes at Ferrari, he's took it. So let's see.
Let's see. News wise, just to finish off about Mercedes, they've just recently sold the most expensive Grand Prix car at auction, 51 million euros. It was a 1954-55 Mercedes-Benz W196R Streamliner. So go look that up, guys.
Nice.
We're coming up to a break. Meet us on the other side. We've got a lot of things to discuss. All the rest of the teams, a little bit about next season. But yeah, I've got a big news on the other side as well. Big news. Massive news. Massive.
Ooh.
Tune in.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula One podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling. Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Straight to the Apex. This is the last episode of Season 3 review. As we go through the season, go through the teams, and just summarise everything that happened before next week's episode, which will be Season 4, Episode 1. But where was we? I just gave some... I just finished Mercedes, and I've got some absolutely stonking news.
You're pregnant.
One of you may know this news already. As you know, we do speak about F1 and motorsport and bollocks. Well,
Which category is this in?
Is it the
this
bollocks?
it might be bollocks.
You're giving yours away. You're donating them.
You haven't got any bollocks. Breaking news.
On the 17th of February. Does that date ring a bell for anybody?
17th. Yes, it does for me.
Coming to Hull.
I know exactly what you're going to say now. It's breaking massive news.
And look how excited he is, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever heard Mark Wilkin this excited?
James is still perplexed. Our new title sponsor. Our new
title sponsor for the
coming.
new season. He's broke it already. He's broke the news. I can't believe it.
I haven't said anything, but I think James is starting to think I know what it is.
What is it, James? You've got one guess. What is it?
Five Guys.
Yes! You fucked. It's here. It's here, guys. It's finally here.
Tony
Amazing.
gets to see Five Guys. I mean,
finally, it's here, guys.
Tony had 5 guys on his stag do.
He has. That was the first time he's had 5 guys, and he's never looked back.
and it was amazing.
Get 5 Guys in his mouth.
We don't have to travel over an hour to York now or anywhere else. It's coming to us. So, yes, that
It's
will be
coming to us. Don't say that.
It will be eaten. 5 Guys on this podcast. And yes, that is our unofficial title sponsor for season 4.
Get in.
Shout out
Get in.
5 Guys.
In other news, there is a little opposite, but they're currently 2 months behind schedule of opening. But we aren't bothered about them. It's all about
There's
5
also
Guys.
a new burger bar opening in Hull.
Is there? 6 Guys.
When 5 Guys ain't enough.
For Tony, it's definitely not. Yeah. And yeah, as soon as you said the 17th of Feb, I was like, I know what this is. I know what this is. I am leaving David Lloyd Gym, straight out the gym, straight to 5 Guys. Get in.
I'm not being funny. It's the worst location to have a gym, that.
It is now. It is now.
Yeah.
You come out of David Lloyd's and you have got Taco Bell, Wendy's, McDonald's,
Dunkin'
Nando's, Dunkin' Donuts.
You can watch a film, have a beer, go bowling.
And now there's going to be 5 Guys as well. Oh, and the all-you-can-eat beef meat place as well.
Yeah. And then there's Pizza Hut. There's Gino's.
It's an awful place for a gym. Hey, come here, be fit, be healthy, lose weight. And as soon as you come out, it's like that. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
This is like fast food mecca.
I mean, why wouldn't I pay for an over expensive gym and then go to an over expensive burger joint right next door? Let's spend nearly £100 in one city.
I mean, it's protein, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm counting it as.
What they could
Is that
do,
the special sauce or the meat? Which one are you talking about?
I'm staying stum now.
Are we talking about the 5 Guys still or not?
I don't know. You did enjoy them 5 Guys on your stag do.
Anyway, moving on, swiftly on.
He went large.
I didn't actually. I've been told small is the way to go.
Small fits better.
Doesn't hurt as much. I'm sorry. I did really well. I didn't say anything bad in the first half.
I was doing so well, and now it's just gone absolutely to the fucking bin. Anyway, trying to bring this back now.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Aston Martin.
Let me guess. You've got Aston Martin to talk about.
Maybe.
It was random. It was random.
I tried to care for everybody's
and then a load of shit.
Right then. Well, you say shit, and that's pretty much summary of Aston Martin. Shall we move on?
Aston Martin, Lance Stroll, moving on.
Had another terrible season. The end.
Aston Martin was marked by high expectations that ultimately led to a significant challenge.
And a new fan.
I was a fan before this season. Performance after a promising 23 and gaining a new fan in Tony Rawson, Aston Martin aimed to build on their success with the AMR 24. However, the season concluded with the team placing 5th in the Constructors' Championship, accumulating only 94 points, no podium finishes, a stark contrast to the previous 8 podiums and 280 points previously. Many technical challenges faced significant issues, including severe porpoising, brake problems, which hindered consistent performance. An aggressive and rapid development strategy led to instability as continuous upgrades were introduced without adequate assessment, resulting in a car that was difficult to manage. Fernando Alonso, the 2-time world champion, scored 70 of the team's 94 points. No shit there. Finishing 9th in the Drivers' Championship. Despite the car's challenges, Alonso delivered commendable performances, including a 5th place finish in Saudi Arabia. Lance Stroll contributed 24 points, ending the season 13th. His performance was notably affected by the car's instability, including a setback at the Brazilian Grand Prix, where severe porpoising led to withdrawal during the formation lap. That was probably up there with some of the worst drive I've ever seen in my life by and the memes and the abuse he got was all well deserved. Leadership adjustments. In response to the underwhelming season, team owner Lawrence Stroll made significant changes, including the removal of Dan Fallows from the role of technical director. The team announced the recruitment of renowned engineer Adrian Newey, aiming to leverage his expertise for the future success. On to next season, they have Mike Crack acknowledge the team's shortcomings in 24.
I love that name.
He's
Especially
got
after speaking about bad guys, Mike Crack.
Substantial investments in new infrastructure and key personnel. It'll be interesting to see how competitive they are in 2025 and beyond. Yeah. Some of the most shambolic driving I think we've seen in F1 for a long time. Stroll. I mean, he went up the back of Ricardo, Brazil. He just...
Yeah.
He purposefully... There is no other way to describe it that he span off and then drove into the gravel and beached himself on the gravel. That's up there with
greatest moment in Formula One.
Greatest moments of engines blowing up for Ferrari, Latifi taking the wrong way on a one-way track. Yeah, it was he's just comical. He will get abused forever. Is he there because his dad's owns a team?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
And that story will continue.
I mean, Mark, still one of my favourite Lance Strolls is the guy who crashes and wrecks his car on the cool-down lap.
Yeah, yeah. Canada is where they score the most points. Alonso 6th, Stroll 7th. Yeah.
I find it more surprising that Stroll got 24 points for the team.
I'm absolutely shocked at that because I didn't think he'd got 4 points. Never mind 24 points.
I mean, with that alone, he can pretty much turn around and say, "I've achieved 1/3 of the points that a two-time world champion has."
Yep.
I mean, after the big four, they finished 5th, and they had a shite season.
When you put it like that, yeah. I mean, to finish 5th after the crap season they've had, 100%. I didn't think they'd finish that high.
Alonso got 9th again. It was the people that were in front of him were from the top 4 teams, so he finished kind of the best of the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Perez was 8th, Gasly was 10th. I think he led the line very well. He did what he could. It was more of a frustrating year for him and the whole team.
Yeah.
Was it a year out to test the waters for the forthcoming season? I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
Well, no, you've got this season before the new formula and the new regs take place. If you're taking a year out, it's this year that's coming.
100%. Adrian's going to probably not be involved in this year's car. And
he can't, can he? He's still on garden leave for another 6 months with Red Bull. He's still on Red Bull's books till midway through the next season.
Yeah.
Through
this season's
reading news, they are already developing the 2026 car. And also reading the news, it's been heavily linked that Max Verstappen may be signing in the years to come. As it's been outlined, $1 billion offer has been made to his team. And that's been made aware to the investors. So they're on the up, but watch this space is what I'm saying. They've invested heavily, as I've already said. We'll see. I think my cap is going to be a good investment. That's all I'm saying. Unfortunately, that's all I've got the money for. One day I'll have enough money to hopefully get part of a car or a car. One day, maybe. But I think the going places, I'm an optimist though, because obviously I'm an Aston Martin fanboy. We'll see. Maybe I've spoken a little bit too much there. That should have been left for the next podcast, but it is what it is. Moving swiftly on. Alpine Renault.
Ooh, it's me. I think. Is it me?
It's not me.
It's not me.
So, yet again, brought to you by Google Gemini. Where I can find it. Here we go. So, the 2024 Formula One season was a roller coaster for Alpine. They seem to like the word roller coaster, this ChatGPT shit.
They do.
Filled with highs, lows, plenty of drama, and here's a summary. Not a single loop-de-loop in this roller coaster. Early struggles in eternal turmoil. Alpine's season started poorly with the car lacking pace and the drivers struggling to score points. Well, no shit. Tensions within the team were evident with clashes between drivers Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. I mean, who the fuck thought it was a good idea to put them two together again? Yeah.
No.
Team principal Bruno Famin stepped down mid-season, further destabilising the team. There was some adjustments made, and they did get better, obviously. Early struggles, Alpine managed to find some form as the season progressed. Team made crucial adjustments to the car, improving its performance and allowing the drivers to compete for points more consistently. Gasly emerged as a team star driver, delivering strong performances and consistently scoring points. But, I mean, let's not forget, Pierre Gasly was good enough to drive for Red Bull at one point.
Yes. And let's not forget
what they always
Ocon.
do. Well, you're not Max, so get the fuck out. Late season surge, championship positions. Alpine finished the season strongly, securing valuable points in the final races. Efforts were enough to clinch a 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. Again, we just said this about Aston Martin, the shit season they had and they finished 5th. Alpine went fucking much better and they came 6th.
But why did they finish 6th? What was the
because they didn't score enough points to finish 5th?
Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah.
They scored 35 points. They scored basically half their season's points nearly in one race.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other drivers shit out. And it polished their shit of a season, and it annoys me because they were there or thereabouts all fucking season. All fucking season.
But at the same time, let's not forget, it all changed mid-season, and one of the things that happened just before the mid-season was they got rid of Ocon even, and brought in Jack Doohan.
Yeah.
To play the final race. His performance in Abu Dhabi was closely watched. Alpine heads into the 2012 season with a mix of optimism and uncertainty, hoping to build on their late season momentum and continue their progress. I mean, at the same time, let's not forget, Pierre Gasly, I think, is the only driver on that track who did not cost his team a fucking penny.
That is true, and that needs commending. If anything. It needs commending.
He needs to go to Williams.
He was... Less said about them. Don't worry, we'll get to them boys in a minute. Yeah, it was a strange one for Alpine. Them two are never going to get along, and it came to fruition this season. Monaco, massive crash, massive bust up, and they never really got on. They never got on. And then in Alpine style, they fucked over Sebastian Ocon for the last race and brought in Doohan. Yeah. What? Anything to add, Mark?
No, you covered everything for me.
Cool. Haas, Ferrari? I think that might be me. It is me.
did kind of. Okay.
Are you asleep? Or is it? Yeah, there we go.
I've got it. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
The
Seamless
connection went for a second there, so his ChatGPT bot didn't fucking work.
seamless transition there to Haas. F1 team's 2024 season was marked by significant progress in strategic development, leading to a notable improvement over previous years. By mid-season, Haas had accumulated 27 points, surpassing their total of 12 points from their entire 23 season. They had strategic success. A highlight was the Austrian Grand Prix, where decisions led to Nico Hülkenberg finishing 6th and Kevin Magnussen finishing 8th. The team's early pit stop strategy allowed both drivers to capitalise on clean air, maximising the car's performance. Tyre management, again, was quite good throughout the season, showed significant improvements in tyre wear management and notable advancement from the previous season's challenges. The focus on race pace over qualifying speed contributed to a more consistent race performances. Hülkenberg experience played a crucial role in securing valuable points, particularly with a strong finish in Austria. And Kevin Magnussen consistently contributed to his team's points tally, complementing Hülkenberg's efforts. I think the key person in all of this was the leadership transition of, and I'm going to butcher his name, because that's what I do on this fucking podcast. Eyo Komatsu took over as team principal, and I think it was the foundation of a lot of their success this year. A lot of their success. 2025, they've got a switcher upper, Oliver Behrman, Esteban Ocon, a female engineer, the first team female F1 engineer. So that'll be interesting to see. They teamed up with Toyota halfway through the season, and again, that's come to fruition. They've been using the wind tunnel. Peter Croller has also left, who was a notable figure in F1, and he's joined Cadillac because they're coming in 2026. Spoiler alert. Yeah, Haas. I don't think there's much more to be said. They were there or thereabouts. There or thereabouts. Always there and thereabouts. That's all I can really say. Anything else to add? Any notable moments from Haas that you guys can remember?
I mean, we miss Gunter Steiner, really, but like I say,
we miss him.
There's more of a character. I think the team has actually done a bit better. Again, another team that was a bit of a laughing stock, and Magnussen and Hülkenberg have been solid, really. It's a shame Magnussen hasn't got a drive this year. Ocon's going to be an interesting one there.
Magnussen was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, it was.
When he got his 007 status,
you
know, when it was like, right, all your points are gone, you got no more fucks to give.
Yeah,
and 7 races. He could have just took everyone out.
Yeah, he could. But I mean, they're never going to do really well because half the car is a Ferrari. They're never going to be up there, are they? It's almost like RB. They're going to be a mid-table, at the front of mid-table. That's about as far as they're going to go, really.
That's a push, I think.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. RB Honda is the next in line. Who has got RB Honda?
That's why I'm wearing the blue and the red. RB Honda forever, baby.
Is that the new Rover shirt you're wearing there?
It is the new Rover shirt.
Wow.
The best one. Ready for next Friday when we're back. NFL finishes. Rugby league starts.
Are you there on your own next Friday?
No, because it's the 14th week on Friday.
All right, so I'm going on Thursday. It's
Friday. Are you there on your own?
I might actually regret my little fucking joke.
Are you going 24 hours early to get a stand, to get a place in the East Stand?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm going to save my space.
I will make sure that I see you at the game for you to apologise face to face. You're welcome.
You ain't getting a fucking apology.
I know not. So
Yes, I will be there on the Friday.
well done, you. I've had to put them in my calendar because I am that age now where I would forget. So I know it's definitely next Friday. And unfortunately, I was meant to be at work next Friday. I'm actually working a Friday, which is killing me.
God.
I know, poor me. So getting to poor me, RB. Started the season with Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo constantly under pressure from one host of this podcast. Wanted him out, protested, got him out. Liam Lawson replaced him. Didn't do a great deal much more, really. The car was crap. Liam Lawson's gone to Red Bull. They've brought in Isaac Hadjar. So he was a Formula 2 runner-up in 2024. He didn't even win Formula 2. He was the runner-up. He is a French-Algerian driver, so 2 more countries for Tony to upset. He'll be racing with the number 6. Well, Algeria, France, he can upset both of them in probably
He's
one
already
turns.
upset fans, I think.
Probably.
Treble 6 or just 6?
He's number 6. He's racing with number 6.
Oh, okay.
Best finish of the year was Tsunoda. He finished 7th 3 times. Australia, Miami, Brazil. Best quali, 3rd and 5th at Brazil. That was Tsunoda and Lawson. Obviously, Brazil, again, that weird race. Finished with 46 points in 8th position. Not got a lot else to say about them apart from they're a bag of crap. And they've got about 50 million names. The Racing Bulls, there was named after a card. They've got lots of names. No one knows what they're called. They call them the mini RBs or the baby Red Bulls, whatever you want to call them. Yuki Tsunoda's probably sat there angry as fuck because he hasn't got a driving Red Bull this year.
Yeah, read that. I mean, discuss that. Yes, he's a talented young man, but they obviously can't trust him, and he's got too many negatives, and one of them is his attitude. It's a bit shit.
He's getting better though.
He's getting better. He's obviously been told to calm it down, so he has.
Yeah, he's an angry kid, and I was also about to say he is still young, but when you look at F1 drivers, he's not really. I mean,
not really.
Max won his first race, and he was like 18 and years old at the time, which was a couple of days younger than Sebastian Vettel. So yeah, you can't really bring it into it anymore.
I mean, when you look at the temperament of Oscar Piastri,
he's an Aussie though. Japanese are very like
Asian people angry.
I've got to be careful because we have booked Japan for this year, so I can't upset them. So I've got to be very careful.
I don't think they're listening.
Oh, they're listening.
Oh, they're listening.
No, to be honest,
always listening.
They did China, didn't they?
So
Yeah,
they're always listening. So I'm going to be nice to Japanese people. They've got a different temperament to the Aussies. The Aussies are laid back. They don't give a fuck. But interesting season for UK. But we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. But yeah, poor season from RB.
Poor season. Sister team, but they're not. But they are. But they're not.
Yeah.
They're a fucking tricky one. But yeah, we'll see. Williams, Guess who's got Williams? Me, myself, and I.
God, you could have a whole fucking podcast just for
I
this
know.
one.
I know, friggin' hell.
But let's just talk about a race where they didn't crash.
I think they crashed nearly every race, and
Straight to the next team then.
Yep. Crashed every race, ran out of parts, had to borrow parts from Mercedes Heritage Centre.
Yeah.
Next.
I think it was down to the last chassis.
Yeah.
Blend of fleeting successes and persistent challenges, culminating in 9th place finish with 17 points. Car was notably overweight, compromised its agility, especially in the slower corners. This fundamental issue, coupled with frequent on-track incidents, disrupted race outcomes and strained the team's resources. I think that...
Putting it mildly.
Operational overhaul. James Vowles, in collaboration with the Chief Technical Officer, Pat Fry, initiated significant changes to modernise the team's infrastructure. This included moving away from outdated practices, such as using Excel spreadsheets for tracking car parts, to more advanced systems. While these changes were necessary, they led to a stressful car production process ahead of the 2024 season. Yes, I mean, every week, every race, there was a problem with the car, there was a problem with the parts, there was a problem with logistics. And what didn't help is every week, every weekend, they smashed the fuck out of the car, which then meant they had more problems with logistics, more problems with parts, more problems with the car. And then they smashed the fuck out of the car. So then what happened was they had then problems with parts, problems with logistics, and financial problems. But that was compounded by the next race that then smashed the fuck out of the car. So then it was just a vicious circle. That's all I can say, really.
Is that why they were still using Excel? Because they had no money to get like a really good program? I mean, I love Excel, but a Formula One team using, let's be honest, probably the free version of Excel, because they won't have been paying for the pro version.
I just don't quite understand how they made it through the season. I mean, they spent all the money, all the
smashing fuck out the cars.
Yeah, but then they like, oh yeah, we're going to do everything this way. It's going to cost a lot of money, but we're going to get there. So they get there just like they even said like we're behind on the development because we've got everything in to update everything, and they just smash the fuck out of it, and then they smash the fuck out of it again and again and again.
It's funny because I did see a lot of Williams employees on the side of a road holding a wing and a part of a wheel and a car, thumbing lifts to save money. Rumour has it.
It's just it's so. I mean, I felt for the mechanics the amount of times where you would have if you know you'd watched a practice race or quali and one of the cars got absolutely destroyed in a wall, and you knew the mechanics had been up all night fixing the car, and then the very next day, probably in the first 5 minutes, the driver then goes and smashes the car into the very same wall. And the amount of weekends where you saw the camera pan to one of the mechanics and they are always like,
oh, not again.
Yeah,
not
just
again.
Rubbing their brow, and it's like I really feel for you. But it is so sad that a team like Williams, who let's not forget, Ayrton Senna drive for.
Mm.
You know, the legend, the man that was. And the only thing that stops him going from 10th is Sauber.
I know. What a fall from great. I mean, let's be honest. McLaren were down there last year before. And we were saying like Williams and McLaren, two major players in Formula One. McLaren have proven it can be turned around. I actually thought James Vowles would turn it around. He's a very clever guy. I don't know what's going on, but he can't do it by himself, clearly.
You know what? He's still good. He's still. I mean, look, we've all seen the bloody documentary with Keanu, about Braun,
Mm.
and they sold that team for £1, and that became like a Cinderella story. So you never know, but we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a family-owned team that were at the bottom of the fucking barrel, sold it, and literally as they sold it, the Americans bought F1 and completely revolutionized it. And I remember watching an interview of, I think it's the Williams' daughter, and she said, "We so basically, if we'd have held on a year or 6 months, we could have sold it for a lot. We basically sold it for peanuts. We sold it for peanuts, and that's what fucking kills them. So they've started again, basically, but we'll see where they come. Just to finish off, Albon remained a consistent performer, providing valuable technical feedback and achieving a points finish in races like Monaco and Silverstone. His experience was instrumental in extracting the maximum potential from the FW46. Colapinto replaced Logan Sargent mid-season and showcased promise by scoring 5 points in 9 races. His aggressive driving style brought both commendable results and occasional setbacks, highlighting areas for growth. Yes, interesting. Did he come with a bit of money as well? I don't know. We did touch on that in the season. We didn't know who the fuck he was. He did all right in the end. Vowles emphasized a long-term approach, acknowledging that while immediate results were limited, foundational changes were being implemented to ensure future competitiveness. Yeah, every single F1 fan is holding on to this strategic approach. The focus remains on gradual progress with significant advancements anticipated in the coming years. The big story, Carlos Sainz has signed for them. Will he bring experience and technical acumen and play a pivotal role in the team's resurgence? Let's talk about that next week, because I think that'll be one of the ones to talk about. That'll get big airtime. Kick Sauber is the last.
So before I do, because let's face it, it's not going to take me 5 minutes to talk about Sauber. I mean, the first line on this is dismal. As a little for Williams, Carlos Sainz gets in that car for Williams for the first day, and he is the fastest man on that track. Let's just see.
I mean, they've said all season. I mean, I think it come out in a report. The car was overweight all year, so if they can shed some weight, they can make it more agile. Carlos Sainz, give him his due. He's the driver that'll get the best out of it. It'll probably show Alex Albon up, but like you say, that's probably one for next time.
Defo.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I just said defo. Oh, defo, mate. Nah.
Getting ready for the Easter massive crowd next week. Defo.
Sauber.
Here we go. Now, we've all been waiting for this.
A dismal 2024 Formula One season, finishing last in the Constructors' Championship with a mere 4 points. It was a year plagued by an uncompetitive car, operational errors, and a lack of development. Uncompetitive car, lacked pace, struggled to compete with the midfield teams. Operational issues, the team suffered from numerous pit stop errors and strategic mistakes, hindering their chance of success. Lack of development. Mate, I don't even want to read it. I feel like it's just kicking someone in the fucking face when they're down. It's like, I know your wife's just left you, but I'm going to kick you in the nuts right now.
Terrible.
Yeah, both Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu struggled to extract the maximum from the car. While they showed flashes of potential, they were ultimately hampered by the limitations of the machinery. And it just goes to show, I mean, if Bottas was that bad of a driver, and I know we'll discuss it more next week, but if Bottas was that bad of a driver, why would Mercedes be taking him back?
True.
Because he's going to mentor Kimi Antonelli.
Both of those drivers, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, in the worst performing fucking team, they could only manage 4 points between them. and they've gone to two of the leading fucking teams.
That says a lot about
Me.
the car, doesn't it? That says a lot about
It
the
does.
car. It must
Yeah.
do.
It does.
Must do. It must do. Yeah. I mean, you put it very nicely there for Sauber. They were absolutely shit. The only thing I can remember is
Who needs ChatGPT for that?
Yeah. You don't need ChatGPT. The pit stops were an absolute joke. I think some of them were 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
And this is the pinnacle of racing. That is disgusting. Anyway, and that's it. That's the summary of the 2024 season. Testing starts on the 26th to the 20th of Feb. We will be doing a podcast before then and probably just after then because round 1 is in Australia on 14th and 16th of March. So, yes, season 4 will be starting next week. Anything to add? Anything to add from this 2024 season? This is it. This is the end.
Welcome back. I mean, sorry. Goodbye. So we'll welcome back next time. Yeah, it's a nice bow on the season. That nice bow. Well done.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thanks for joining, guys. Subscribe to CookieCast, and we'll see you very soon for the predictions and the discussions for next season.
Send us money.
Five guys. Bye-bye.
So there we go. What do you think to that? The boys are back in town, as they say. Big thank you to these guys and big thank you to you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining for what will be another season of the Formula One and another season of the Formula One podcast. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review and check out the website. It's thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with us, with these guys, anybody on the network, get in touch with them. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to this episode of CookieCast.